I am going to present you an argument.
Okay.
And this is a new series. It's called How to Save the NBA. I don't know if I'm going to be doing this every week, but every so often, I'm going to present Brian an idea on how to save the NBA. If I was the commissioner, what I would do. So, for this week, for this podcast episode, let me ask you this, Brian. So, what makes the NFL so great, Brian? Like, why do you care so much about your rival teams?
Okay, because one, divisions actually matter.
Mm.
Playoff spots are limited. 14 teams make the playoffs as opposed to 16 in the NBA, even though the NFL has 2 more teams. Games, the season is shorter.
Okay.
And there's weekly games.
Okay.
So each game pretty much matters. And those division games, that makes division games even more significant.
Okay. And why are you besides the point of, all right, there, division games matter and get in the playoffs, like why do you care, besides that, why do you care so much about like the Commanders? Like why do you have so much animosity for these rival teams in your division so much?
Because like division winners, you get an automatic bid in the playoffs, and it's just like it's history between it. Like a lot of times the divisions in the NBA don't really make sense. Even some teams on certain conferences, like Minnesota's on the Western Conference, but they're like in the Midwest region. But like why? So it's like you don't really get it's not built up. Like rivalry week in divisions is like a real thing. It's like, yeah, we got the Steelers fan. Like, yeah, we got the Ravens this week. Everybody knows it's gonna be a classic. But if there was a rivalry in the NBA, no one cares because the NFL promotes teams as a whole and orgs versus just players. NBA will, instead of doing like a I don't even know what the freaking, like I think okay, for example, I know the Wizards and the Hawks are in the same division.
Yeah.
But they can't really promote Wizards for Hawks, so they would just do let's say if it was Trae Young versus the blah blah blah, whoever on the Wizards. It doesn't really hit the same, you know what I'm saying? But you can say Ravens Steelers, it's always going to be
a rivalry,
exactly,
history too, exactly. And they present it that way,
and they're gonna play like it too.
Yeah, right.
Like the NBA tries to like manufacture some of these division or rivalry games, it just doesn't work. They either do it like, oh, it's a revenge game, or like
they had history last year.
Yeah.
Oh, you remember that one incident?
Yeah.
During that game? Oh yeah. Now they're playing again. Oh, you remember the guy on social media? What he said?
Yeah, right. It's just like,
oh, they're playing that game.
And then you won't even be able to watch the game because it's not being shown in your area and league pass blockouts and all that stuff. And also the fact that the NFL, I think only the real fans will, only aspect of football people could say like is like the physicality, the big hits and people going across the field and getting smacked, and that part of the game is kind of dying off because they want to protect the offensive players because people like points scored. But at the end of the day, in football, 10 yards is 10 yards. A yard is a yard. A touchdown is going to be a touchdown. Field goal is going to field goal. That will never change. So if you like a fan of passing, it's going to be teams that's going to pass. If you like running, it's teams that like to run. But in the NBA, teams are going to shoot threes until the wheels fall off because at the end of the day, 3 points is worth more than 2. And if you make 40% of your three-pointers, you will get 12 points on 10 attempts. If you make 50% of your 2-pointers, you're only getting 10 points, being the best, the very best in the league in that out of 10 attempts. So at the end of the day, the teams are not going to incentivize or change the way they play. There's not going to be like people say, history repeats itself. Errors. I don't think it's going to happen because at the end of the day, 3 points is worth more than 2. But in the NFL, there's going to be errors where it's going to be a passing league, there's going to be a running league. But it works because at the end of the day, a yard is a yard, a touchdown is a touchdown. No matter if it's passing, it's going to be the same 6 points, same 3 points, same yardage you got to go to. In the NBA, not so much. So that's why the game is starting to look a little funny in the light because the teams are just chucking up threes, and the teams that like to play in the paint or play mid range is is not very good teams because the better teams are just out shooting you from the 3-point line.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So continue the conversation we had with the viewership.
Just let me be me.